Time for the third and final period here on the Puck Podcast. And before we get into some listener mail and emails, want to, as usual, give a shout out to our friend Dave at Tally Hockey Jerseys. TallyCustomHockeyJerseys.com is the website if you would like to get yourself some fabulous Puck Podcast merchandise, jerseys, hats, those types of things. Want to support the show and support our friend Dave, who's been a great friend of the show for many years. He's also obviously the man you need to see if you would like to get any hockey jerseys for whatever the occasion, whether it's your beer league hockey team or anything else. Great jerseys, reasonably priced. You can create your own jerseys. He can help you make your own custom logo. Good stuff from our friend Dave over at Tally Hockey Jerseys. And also want to give a big shout out to all of our patrons over on Patreon who support us. Really appreciate your help. If you would like to support us on Patreon, it is patreon.com/Puck Podcast, and you get a little extra stuff if you help us out there. Let's go ahead and get to the listener mail here. I'm holding in my hand a letter. It comes from, I believe it's
Sabina. First of all, do you have an Addie update?
I do have an Addie update. My wife is on the way home and says that Addie's just fine, that she did not eat any string apparently. So
good.
We'll just here's $400. Take that and do what we will. We don't need it.
Make sure you submit it within 90 days.
Yeah, I think I have to check the deductible. We'll see. This is from Rod, and the last name is a little bit covered up by the postage meter thing. So we'll see if he says inside. But this is from Thailand.
Oh my!
Apparently. I don't know if you can see that or not.
I can.
So let's open it up and see what Rod has this to say.
This is compelling as we watch on Patreon, Eddie.
That's why you pay the bucks.
That's why you pay the listen bucks. To him.
Well, it's a lovely looking card with some elephants on it, I believe.
Yep, elephants.
Kind of looks, honestly, it looks homemade.
It does.
And it's got a note inside, and it says, "Dear Doug and Eddie, greetings from Chiang Mai, Thailand. I am writing this on the NHL trade deadline." He says that Margot sticky rice costs $1.25 US here. All those prices, I am considering trading myself to Thailand.
He must have been on vacation.
I guess so. He says, "I'm curious to see if you received this before the start of the playoffs." Well,
yes.
The answer is yes.
Yes.
All the best, Rod, a Devils fan living in Brooklyn. Go Devils. And I guess visiting Thailand. And decided to send us.
No, I love it. That's basically, instead of a postcard, got a card. I doubt it was homemade since he was on vacation.
It does. Well, somebody definitely made it. It's not something that was, you know what I mean? What I'm saying, it was somebody hand made this.
Yeah, it wasn't a factory made.
No, it was not factory made. So thank you.
Very good. Very nice. No, appreciate that. And mission accomplished. It did get here before. I will have to send you something from Japan when I'm there to see.
Oh, when are you going?
July.
Oh, very good.
You've always wanted to go to Japan, right?
It is on the list. Yeah, it is on the list.
I would be fascinated to see you in Japan.
Why is that?
I just you don't like Japanese food.
Well, I'm sure I'll find something I can enjoy.
All right. It's just a culture that I think it'd just be interesting to watch. That's all.
What's in the box? This is from
let's
James
hope it's not
Curry.
Gwyneth Paltrow's head.
If it is, her head's awfully light.
It's a reference. It's now 30 years old.
Right. I do have some scissors here.
Once again, fascinating audio as Eddie tears into a box. And, you could pre-open these.
That wouldn't be as fun.
This is fun?
Do you know what this is, by the way? Is he giving you a heads up? You met with James recently.
Yes, I know what it is.
Oh.
I will be seeing you later tonight.
Eddie and Doug, this is the letter that was inside the box. An incredibly brief note to explain. I am replenishing your British crisp supply that I recently took a trip to the UK. Sorry for the long printed letter, James Curry. Let's see what goodies we have in here. We've got the Walker's Monster Munch.
Mm-hmm.
There's that. let's see. The Sensations Thai Sweet Chili Chips.
Very good.
Sounds nice. Another fine product from the good folks at Walker's, which I'm guessing is their version of like Lay's. This is the Max Crispy Chicken Chips.
Oh, can't go wrong with that.
Oh,
It's to the max, too.
bet your ass it is. And that's it. That's it. So some
That's
extras
it?
of those.
3 bags of chips?
No, there's some extra ones, but those are the 3 flavors.
Okay.
There are no other different flavors. You got the Thai
All right.
chips, the Monster Munch, and the Max Crispy Chicken, which looks delicious. So thank you
Yep.
for that, James. Thank you for thinking of us.
For sure. Thank you very
I'll
much.
see you later, and I can also give you James's Christmas cards that he sent. I haven't seen you since then, apparently. So, and then again, maybe they came a little bit later after than Christmas. So
That could be.
there you go. Let's get to the emails, and Doug, lead us off.
All right. We start off with Andrew. He's in Columbia, Missouri. He says, "Hey, Doug and Eddie, I'll be honest. I've somewhat given up on following hockey this year. Between the Blues tanking, a needed move. Boy, you don't know what tanking is until you've been a Ducks, Blue Jackets, or Canadiens fan. They've been bad all year. But anyway, and new teams popping up in my hometown of St. Louis. New teams in St. Louis? What does that mean, Ed?
I don't know.
I haven't been following the sport nearly as intently. That said, I still listen in each week, and at the very least to hear your off-ice report. Just wanted to pass along my condolences for the loss of your dogs. Losing a pet sucks. There's no other way to put it. I hope you and yours are doing well and staying safe from the rain." Andrew in Columbia, Missouri. Well, it has been beautiful weather these last 2 days, and the rain comes back tomorrow. So thank you for that, Andrew. Do appreciate that, and appreciate you supporting the show and listening each week, even if your team sucks. But I am curious what new teams are popping up in your
XFL.
Oh, come on.
What else is there? I don't know.
What else is there indeed?
Major League
must be-
Soccer?
I'm asking Andrew to clarify next week.
All right. Our next email comes from Matt in San Diego. He says, "Hey guys, now that we have some Christians refusing to participate in Pride Nights because of this one thing they read in the Bible, I find it highly interesting to see how teams are responding, and maybe there is some hope for this league yet. First, to the Christians, I just want some consistency from you, James Reimer and Stahl Brothers. If you can't participate in Pride Night because of this one passage in Leviticus, literally the only place in the Bible where homosexuality is mentioned, then why are you guys skating with players who have tattoos? The same section of Leviticus treats tattoos the same way they treat being gay. It also says you can't wear synthetic fibers, so maybe you guys should be demanding the league go back to wool jerseys to better align with your Christian faith. And let's not even get into whether or not you make your wives go to a tent in the backyard during their special time of the month.
Goodness.
All of that nonsense is in the Bible. So these hypocrites picking and choosing what they want from the book shows exactly the kind of people they truly are. Closed-minded bigots. And you know that's good because they came out and said this. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. So now we know what tools these guys actually are. However, kudos to the Panthers and Sharks for not hiding behind the same stupid reason. Like Putin may be mean to our players and going on with their Pride Nights as scheduled. Apparently, Sergei Bobrovsky and Yevgeny Malkin don't get the Russian memo because they participated in their respective Pride Nights. And to hear Logan Couture and Matthew Tkachuk speak after these nights just makes Reimer and the Stalls seem that much more pathetic. We need to remember that these are more like the Couture, Tkachuk, and Zach Hyman and Connor McDavids, who have been very outspoken about the importance of nights like this to make sure hockey is truly for everyone. Hyman said it best, quote, "They're entitled to their opinions, but I don't have to like it," end quote. So let the ignorant people hiding behind the Bible keep outing themselves, and may the teams that have to deal with these idiots handle it in the same way the Panthers and Sharks did. Sorry, not sorry for the long email. This is an important topic that I am obviously passionate about. Matt in San Diego.
Yep. I always remember the comedy bit that Doug Stanhope had about the Bible and the way you kind of adapt your life to it. And he's like, you believe the parts that don't apply to your life, but the parts that go against your natural instinct, like that part about premarital sex, that was more a suggestion. I think that was a typo. That's open to interpretation, and it's just that always reminds me of that. And when he's talking about, obviously the Stahl brothers have no problem with synthetic fibers, but it is in the Bible just as much as anything else is, and so you could say, well, because of my religious faith, I have to wear this natural wool. That would be something. That would be something if that was the case. But I don't think we're going to see that anytime soon. Our next email comes from Nick in Cardiff, and I don't know if that's Cardiff by the sea or just Cardiff. He says, "Hi, Eddie and Doug. Just one more note that in the incredible Bruins regular season, I'm not sure you're aware of or not, the Bruins have beaten every team in the league at least once this season. Can you think of any other team going a season and managing to get at least a single victory over each of the other teams? Kind regards, Nick in Cardiff." Well, it would take an exceptional season like they are having. So the only other team I could think of that might apply is the Lightning. But even they may have been swept by a Western Conference team that they only played once or twice. So, to go into any postseason matchup and say, we know we can beat this team because we've done it before is pretty impressive. And the Bruins certainly will have that confidence no matter who they play at any point in the postseason. That is very impressive.
Our next email comes from Mike. He's in Iowa City, Iowa, which makes sense that Iowa City would be in Iowa, but you never know. He says,
by the way, Quinnipiac is in Connecticut.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the clarification. He says, "Dear Puck podcasters, until recently, I too was unfamiliar with Fanatics aside from having a Fanatics experience drilled into my head during commercials while watching games. From what I gather, the concern with them getting the NHL contract isn't about what the players will wear, but rather with the quality of the product and experience, product and experience that fans will be getting. Fanatics has a reputation for being very poor quality merchandise, customers not receiving what they ordered, and bad customer service. One need look no further than the Twitter feed, Fanatics Sucks, where fans have shared their myriad of experiences with the company. There is every manner of misspelling, numbers not matching, wrong team names and logos, and shoddy workmanship falling apart in people's hands. Or in the case of the pitcher in the World Baseball Classic, while he's wearing it on live television. Note the relationship between Nike and Fanatics. Nike logo on the jersey made by the latter. The New York Islanders t-shirt reminded me of when I worked in a print shop where we had a couple of designated shirts to use to test printing of all the new designs, find an area that hasn't been printed yet, and see how the new fonts and logos look. Perhaps my favorite is from the fan who ordered a Jared Spurgeon jersey, only received one spelled Sparingo. The fan then met Jared Spurgeon, who signed his own name incorrectly to get in on the joke. I like that. I do too. Awesome. That is very good. I don't apologize for the link to this email, but please excuse the excessive number of attachments I have provided of my favorite posts. And again, that was Mike in Iowa. He had 12 attachments here, apparently with the various goofs that Fanatics has had. I have not looked at them yet, but I'll check that out. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, I'm going to take a look at some of them here because I looked at, while you were reading that, I looked up Fanatics Sucks, and that is an entertaining Twitter account.
I know they said initially for the first few years they're going to use the same factory that Adidas was using, so I don't know if that's going to help or not.
For the players' jerseys.
Oh, okay.
That's the.
I guess I would ask has anyone ordered a baseball jersey from Fanatics since they have taken over to MLB and what that experience was like.
Yeah, I don't know. The quality here. There's the Spurgino with him signing it. That's outstanding. That's a collector's item. Here's an Eric or a William Karlsson with Karlsson upside down on the nameplate. That doesn't look good. They sent a those beer cozies, right? They sent one of those in a humongous box, and it's the only thing in it. That's good. New York Islanders with the New York Rangers logo on it. That's not good. Oh boy, this one's got a whole bunch of bad layouts here for the Islanders stuff. St. Louis Blues just says St. Louis Blues. There's Louis is misspelled. This is, if this is indicative, this is bad. Great Britain, a team for the World Baseball Classic. It just said Grey Britain, no T in great. So, and that was a player jersey. So, yeah, that's not good. That's not great. I've heard a lot from fans this past weekend. We got more coming up. In fact, let's get to it right now. Richard in Coventry, UK. How did they say his name? How did Richard say his name back at Fox, Ed?
Richard.
That's the one. He was the one that heard the name Guy Bear and thought they were saying gay bear. Yes, a gay bear is playing in net for the for the hockey team. Gay bear. Doug and Eddie, this is from Richard in Coventry of the UK. Doug and Eddie, I'm literally walking as I write this, so I apologize for any spelling mistakes, but I was hoping to get this in just before you finish the podcast. Well done. Fanatics are feces. He goes on. My partner was made to feel crap by the quality of the Fanatics merchandise. She very kindly bought me a Colorado Avalanche hoodie from the official European NHL store and was confused by what she received. It was a bright red hoodie with an Avs logo printed on it. That's right, bright red. The logo even had maroon at the bottom of the A logo, so it looked really weird. To compound things, their customer service was atrocious and made very little effort to resolve the issue or claim any responsibility for such a shoddy product. She felt awful and had clearly done the right thing by going to an official outlet, so I vowed to never buy anything from Fanatics again. Just look on Twitter and you'll see countless examples of cheap merchandise. For example, New York Rangers emblazoned on a New York Islanders logo, which is what I was just talking about. I was astounded to see a company of this stature become the official league supplier, and it just goes again to show how the NHL organization is so out of touch with its fans. Thank you again for all you do, Rich from Coventry, UK. Remember Gary Bettman's motto, whoever pays us the most is who we will go with. Doesn't matter. He does not care one bit about you, Rich, me, or anyone else except for the 32 owners and their pocketbooks. That's it, and that's all he'll care about. So we all know why he did it. All we can do is vote with our wallets and make Fanatics lose their shirt on this deal. And vintage hockey gear should be worth a fortune. The secondary market for vintage hockey gear should be worth a fortune. And places like David Talley Hockey Jerseys.
Our next email comes from Joe. He's in Evanston, Illinois. He says, gents, do you think the NHL would be a better product and or display better competition without TV timeouts? Seems to me TV timeouts are disruptive to the flow of the game and disincentivize having a deep bottom six forwards. But then again, stars like McDavid would be forced to play less minutes with no TV timeouts, which might be bad for the league. Your thoughts? P.S. Doug, how did Hawkman become your favorite DC hero?
Well, let's get to the first part, beginning that. So, no TV timeouts. I love the idea because of the flow of the game.
So he wants it to be like a soccer match, I guess.
Correct. 3 20-minute periods, you got plenty of time for commercials in the intermissions, but of course, fans are going to get up and leave. So what do you do to satisfy the TV advertising market, Ed? Well, it's very simple, in my opinion, as somebody that's worked in sports marketing for a long time. During the game, there are plenty of stoppages in play. And when there is a stoppage in play, take a 30-second break without leaving the game. Picture.
They're doing that now. Yeah.
And do the squeeze back and run the ad and do that every time there's a break, or at least as many times as you would need to replace the minutes or the advertising lost by taking a TV timeout, a full 2.5-minute break. So if 2.5 minutes, that's 6 or 5 30-second commercials. You've got 3 of those in any given time, in any given period. So total of 15 spots. There's at least 15 whistles where there will be 30 seconds before the next face-off in any period. So you could easily make up the inventory that way. The advertiser would be happy because as it is on a TV timeout, you and I may get up and walk away. Whereas in this, we would sit there and watch the commercial because the picture-in-picture would still be showing us some of the game. So I love the idea. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon because of money and the the opportunity to make more for the owners. God knows those billionaires need more money. So I love the idea, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. As for how Hawkman became my favorite DC hero, there was a show called Super Friends in the
Yeah.
70s, and I grew up watching that. That was my favorite cartoon. Had all the superheroes from DC: Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, and Robin. Hawkman was on there occasionally, The Flash, all those guys. So those were my favorites. And then I got the Super Friends sheets for my bed. And and Hawkman was on those, and he just became that was just a cool. I liked the look of him, the guy with the wings and the mace, the big. I didn't know what it was at the time, but the big metal ball that could kick some ass, and he looked badass. And so I'm just like, that's my guy. And so it's always been the case, and still is. And it's an easy guy to keep up with because he's not in a lot of books, so I don't have to read a lot each week to keep up with the adventures of Hawkman. So that's how that came about. My last email, correct, Ed,
I don't
comes
know.
from John
Oh, yes, it is.
in parts unknown, is in Birmingham in the UK, and he says, John the Flames fan in Birmingham, UK here. Doug was wondering how the team has been playing this year. Doug was wondering, so I thought I'd offer my best answer based on highlights packages. So I was asking about the Flames and Daryl Sutter. I don't watch him too closely. So what's been the problem this year? And here is John, the Flames fan in Birmingham, giving me his opinion. I appreciate that. I like the based on highlights packages. Last year, the top line was the center of this team. They were dominant and scored a lot of goals. This year, there are sometimes entire 9-minute highlights packages where the top line is not featured in a single shot on target. There is no dominant line at the heart of this team. Sutter has tried to replace the quality we lost with quantity. We take shots from everywhere, often dominating the shot totals by 10 or more shots. Why pass the puck when you can shoot from a terrible angle at an unscreened goalie? These shots are low quality and allow opposition goalies to pad their numbers and get comfortable. Whilst we can create a lot of poor chances, we don't give up many chances. Sadly, the chances we do give up often are high quality and teams don't need to create much to score on us. Our D-core is okay, but we are prone to passes that split our D-men down the middle and lead to high-scoring chances in the slot, exactly the kind of plays we are not making on offense. Markstrom is good for an outstanding save or two a night, but also good for a howler or two. A howler, I like that one. Sutter believes this to be a 3-2 league. Even if that were true, we often concede 3 and only score 2. It's hard to argue he's getting the best out of the players he has. We've been abysmal in OT and one-goal games, too many mistakes, and not enough quality on either end. Hope this has been helpful. Unless they drop Sutter, it's likely to be a tricky few years for the Flames, and I can't see ownership letting him go so soon. Thanks for the great show, John, the Flames fan in Birmingham. Well, John, as I said, if they do let him go, it will be to promote him to be the GM, and I don't know that that's any better. So there you go. But thank you for that input. I like hearing from fans that see their team play on a regular basis, even if it is just the extended highlights packages, which are excellent, by the way. The 9-minute highlight is really very good.
Our final email comes from our friend Hart in Lake Echo, Nova Scotia. He says, Gentlemen, historically, Fanatics seems to have prioritized profit over quality, in my opinion. That's my experience anyway. I was already amongst those who refused to buy their products before the NHL's deal with Adidas went the way of the dodo bird, and they signed on with Fanatics. Now the quality control will likely improve given the stakes here, and I'm sure the pros will be wearing proper jerseys, but I'm already annoyed with a company based on past purchases. I'm clearly not the only one. Shame on the NHL because you can't tell me that their leadership thinks Fanatics is a better brand than Adidas. Once again, the fans pay the price, or in my case, don't, because I am not supporting Fanatics and I'll save my jersey money too. The NHL is similarly tone deaf to its audience and players with its recent suspensions. AJ Greer gives Mike Hoffman a facelift with his stick and gets a single game. Josh Morrissey drops the gloves against Blake Lizotte, and the latter cross-checks Norris, the Norris candidate, in the chin instead of dropping the gloves. Again, one game, both Hoffman and Morrissey looked like they got hit in the face by a small bus.
I did see, did you see that, Ed, that Mike Hoffman called them out?
I did not.
He said, I've been suspended for 2 games in the past for cross-checking people, but I get, and he's got the scar and the huge bruise on his face, and he said, but this is 1 game? That's all he said. It was just kind of the Interesting. And he's calling out the Department of Player Safety for being inconsistent and sometimes flat out ridiculous. And that was an intentional cross check to the face should get more than one game. I don't care if it's your first offense or not. That's got to be punished severely. Otherwise, it's not going to be a deterrent.
Hart continues, sticks to the face do not belong in the game. The NHL is responsible for this insanity continuing with their wet noodle wrist slapping responses. Cross-checking to the face isn't something that just happens naturally due to the speed of the game. I feel like the league practically endorses this kind of behavior, or at the least is complicit in it by shrugging their shoulders every single time. Let's get this crap out of the game. 2 thumbs down, NHL. Again, Hart in Lake Echo, Nova Scotia.
Yep. Have you heard anybody that isn't paid by the league supportive of this move?
No. The Fanatics thing you're talking about, no.
Yeah. I mean, that speaks volumes to it. And the fact that a Twitter account exists called Fanatics Sucks also speaks volumes about it. So like I said, I don't think they'd take over until 2024. So we've got another full season of the good merchandise, as it were. And I would buy up if you have any interest in that, and then just wait out the contract and enjoy the vintage gear, and look for stuff on the secondary market that you can get used gear, because this is the best way to hurt them is to not support them. And it sounds like a lot of people are going to take that approach.
All right, that'll do it for this week's show. Thank you to all who took the time to email us. We appreciate that. Also, thanks to James Curry for the package, and also from Rod for the card. If you'd like to send us an email, the email address is feedback@puckpodcast.com. We're on Twitter @puckpodcast, facebook.com/puckpodcast. Again, if you'd like to be a supporter on Patreon, it is patreon.com/puckpodcast. And also want to give a thanks one more time to our guest this week, Chris King, the radio play-by-play voice of the New York Islanders. So Doug, any closing thoughts before we say goodbye for another week of the Puck Podcast?
No, another week closer to the playoffs. Looking forward to getting my hands on some delicious British crisps later tonight. I am a chip junkie, so thank you to James Curry for that, and thank you again. Who was the person that sent us that from Thailand and thought of us on
that was
vacation?
Rod.
Thank you very much for that. Really appreciate hearing from you and chiming in, and that kind of stuff. Give that address again, Ed, if anybody wants to send anything to us while they're on vacation, or some delicacies from their part of the world. Where would they send it to?
That would be P.O. Box 6586, San Pedro, California, 90734. Address it to Eddie Garcia. P.O. Box 6586, San Pedro, California, 90734.
Excellent.
All right, that'll do it for this week's show. Thank you very much for listening. Appreciate it as always. Looking forward to another good show next week. As Doug said, excited about the playoffs getting ready to go. For my co-host, Doug Stolhan, I'm Eddie Garcia. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next week with another edition of the Puck Podcast.